We need to rip this guy out and put a new one in its place. This is a shrub called a Vitex. And if you live in Texas, and I've been getting asked recently what part of Texas I'm in north central Texas, about 45 minutes north of Waco. And Vitex do exceptionally well for us. You'll see Vitex landscaped into highway projects, places where it's just going to be really exposed and not get a lot of water. They're exceptionally drought tolerant. They are such good. You can form it into a tree, or you can keep it as a shrub. It's really easy to size control. It doesn't mind being cut on. This variety, which is a Shoal Creek, looks like it gets 15 feet high and 15 feet wide. I've never grown this kind of chaste tree before. I've only had the monstrose purple, but I couldn't find that one. So this guy didn't just die. I transplanted him from somewhere else last fall, and when I cut into it, it is green, but it's just not pushing out new growth, and I'm kind of over giving it the opportunity to do so. I mean, like, it doesn't even have a single bud. And this purple, like, it makes these big, long, purple, cone-shaped blooms. Butterflies and bees absolutely go crazy for it. The more you cut those off, the more it will keep producing blooms. And I'm putting purple right here because this climbing rose is yellow. And if you kind of get in here and look at this thing, it is just loaded with buds. And that is all over this thing. It is going to be such a showstopper here in like a week. I'll have to be sure to show you guys. Also have a clematis that lives with this climbing rose, and it has just taken off this year. I don't know if I'll even need a shovel for this. Okay, yeah. Some of y'all are gonna think that this is silly, but I am gonna say, I'm gonna save it. I have a thing about throwing away plants. I took my shovel and I just I scraped away some bark just to see what color it was. That's very obviously green. Had it been brown, I wouldn't really be bothering with it. Like I said, I don't know why it's so late in pushing buds this year, but this plant's very obviously alive down in here. So we will give him another chance. And we'll plant this guy real quick. Look at this thing. It wants out of its pot so bad. Jiggle it a little bit. There we go. It's a good healthy plant before we put it in the ground, because they're circling quite a bit. I don't really want them to do that in the ground. So there we go. Very quick work on this one. We'll just pop his tag off. Okay, we're ready to pot it up. And this ain't my first rodeo. I know if I put this thing in the size of a container that I have chosen for it, I won't be able to move it. So I'm putting it in its permanent position. This is where it's probably going to spend the next year of its life, is in this bucket on this pallet. Let me show you the container that I chose to kind of like, it's its rehab home basically. And that's an old tub with the top cut off. And it just happens to be the biggest container that I have. I save all my containers, but none quite this big. And this is gonna suit our purposes just fine. So We are going to pot this baby up, give him some food. I'm gonna water it with root and grow, and we will just leave him to his own devices. All right, we're in. Here's its spot. Observe my huge mulch pile. But this is him all planted up. This, like I said, this is where he's going to reside. I'm gonna water him in with some root stimulator just to kind of help him. I'm gonna soak the roots down in that, and then he will just kind of be on his own. I'll keep the soil moist, obviously, but I'll keep y'all updated, see what happens. I don't know what it is. I just can't throw a plant away. Like, even, let me show y'all this, because I was planting my homestead verbena like a few weeks ago and I accidentally broke a stem off. I just had to save the stem. So I cut it up and I propagated it. Because gardening can be expensive. Okay, moving on from that, because that took quite a bit longer than I wanted it to. I'm still steadily working my way through all of these things that I started from seed or propagated last fall. This sedum has got to go, and I have a great place for it. If you're not familiar with growing sedum, you need to pick like the toughest, driest, hottest area in your garden that needs some color, because this is it. It's exceptionally drought tolerant, so tough. When it blooms, the pollinators go absolutely crazy for it, and it is very easy to propagate. I just cut all these off and stuck them down in the dirt with some rooting hormone on the tips. That was like 6 weeks ago. They're all already rooted and ready to go in the ground, and I have a new flower bed that's very exposed. It's right by the road. It's gonna get all the sun, all the wind, and this is a great location for this sedum. Okay, here we are. Let me tell you all about this space. So when I originally marked this flower bed out, it was in more of a triangle shape. Obviously it has evolved into like a weird teardrop, which I'm fine. I like really weird shaped flower beds, just plopped right out in the middle of the lawn. And we have a live oak in there that we've been babying along for a couple of years. We took it as a seedling from the base of a mother live oak in a town several miles from here called Covington. Brought it here. It is having its best year ever, and it's probably going to have an even better year because now it will have some regular water to it. But I'm trying to choose things for this flower bed that are like the toughest of the tough that I have. So far, I have some flame acanthus right here. I have salvia greggii. I have some monarda, some Julesburg salvia, a yucca. I'll talk about that in a second because it looks really sad. And then some Zexmenia. Now, regarding the yucca, when it was in its pot, it was really struggling because it was just getting too much water. So that's why it looks really sad. It will be fine. Once all this stuff comes off, you can see that it's pushing some new growth. Hold on. Okay, now that it's in the ground and able to dry out a little bit, it's pushing this new growth up from the base, and these little dried up brown ones, they're not ready to come away yet, but they'll just fall away and be fine. Yucca are so resilient, they just hate to be wet. But I brought the sedum over here. I'd like to put it like this. I'm not gonna run any irrigation to it because sedum resent being overly wet, but there are 32 plants in that little tray. I obviously don't have room for 32 sedum out here because at their full size, they do get like, I don't know, 24 to 30 inches tall. I would say 12 to 18 inches wide. That's how mine do. I'm sure that there are other varieties that get much bigger or stay smaller than that, but that's how I have observed this kind do that I propagated. So I obviously don't have room for 32 of them. I will choose some other full sun locations in the garden that could use some color. These bloom in the autumn. They are spectacular. The bees just go insane. That is what they'll look like when they're blooming. Don't ask me why this one's blooming. It's acting weird because it's propagated. Most of the other sedum in my garden look like this. They're in that rosette stage that they look like when they're first coming up in the spring. But I'm thinking that this one just stayed sheltered enough in my potting shed that now it's like, oh, it's warm, it's time to bloom. So we will get those planted out in this space real quick. Okay, that's that done. It's probably hard for y'all to see from this angle, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I lost track of them too. That I wound up putting in this area, and they're just barely peeking their little heads above the soil. But now that it's gotten warm, they'll take off. They don't need to be fertilized. They don't really need to be watered in. If we don't get any more rain for like the next several days, I may come out here and just give them a splash to help them get established, but they don't need fertilizer. Sedum actually really resent being over fertilized, so it makes them flop. So we will just leave them to it. And I do just want to show y'all real quick. These are some Zexmenia that I transplanted from a different part of my garden. Zexmenia is a native and it is so easy to transplant. I actually want to put more in this space. Let's just do that right now, actually. Let me show y'all where I'm getting it from. This is the Zexmenia. Started out as 1 gallon and it takes over this whole space by the end of the summer. It tends to kind of like try to lay on my catmint and it doesn't like that. So I've just been kind of slowly taking pieces out of here and putting them elsewhere. Oh look, we had a really chilly night the other night. Look, it got nipped. And it was like 32, right on the money. Had a light frost. Zexmenia did not appreciate that at all. So we're gonna take a few pieces back over to that garden bed we were just working in. Let me show y'all how easy it is to do. I don't wanna take that one. That Rudbeckia grows tall but not very wide, so they should be fine together. What's this one doing? That'll be a good piece to take right there. So I just get my spade, go down as far as I can, pop them up, grab it at the crown, give it a little shake. There we go. And I'll pop that into the ground in the other flower bed, give it some water, and it will just take off like that. They're so easy to transplant. And they spread themselves around like this all over this flower bed. So I'll be able to do this for years to come. And it's just such a good plant. Really cheerful, yellow flowers. So drought tolerant, just like a really tough as nails perennial for us. If y'all remember the winter storm from several years ago, where it got down below 0 here, did a lot of damage to a lot of our trees and plants, but and we were here in this property when that occurred. This Zexmenia just bounced right back, no problems. I had a lot of perennials not come back after that winter, and this one just took it in stride. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one out too, because this catmint gets huge and it will just kind of eat this Zexmenia and vice versa. They'll overlap and not really do each other much good. This is a very rocky part of my garden. I'm gonna get a big rock along with this plant. Let me y'all look at this. Yeah, we just grow the rocks here. Anybody need a huge piece of limestone? More roots on this guy. We wound up with 3, so let's pop them in that garden that we were just working in with the sedum. Zexmenia doesn't get very tall, but as you just saw, it does get fairly wide just because it sows itself around. So if I am going to transplant a piece, I transplant it to the edge of a flower bed, usually. It just gives it a nice bright pop of color. Very low maintenance. Oh, looky there. A little bit of poison ivy. Cool. Talk about seeding itself everywhere. That's one that will just never quit around here. Pop my little dude in there. Watch out, sweetie. That's going to do it for today. We got a lot of stuff done, but the weather being so beautiful, I will probably just continue to work outside all day, even though I really need to get stuff done inside. You know how that goes. If the weather is fine, we're going to seize the opportunity, right? So we got the sedum. She needs a minute. Got the sedum planted, got that Vitex taken out and repotted, and the new one planted, transplanted some Zexmenia, got a lot of good stuff done that is good to do while the weather is nice. It's not good to plant new plants or transplant plants when it's 100 degrees outside. So I did just want to note, again, my location. I'm like 45 minutes north of Waco. I know that Texas is so big, it covers so many growing zones. And everyone, I mean, like a few days ago, they were getting snow in Plainview and the Lubbock area. I saw some videos of it online. But I just want to let y'all know kind of where I'm at and what works for me in this area. I know that there are lots of gardeners in this part of Texas that love to garden and want to know more about gardening in Texas. New gardeners, if you're just now getting into gardening, let me know what you would like to know, and I will do my best to bring it to you guys. I feel like sometimes gardeners in Texas can be told just in very strict terms what they can and can't grow, and that can be kind of limiting. And I just want to help everybody build a garden that they love and that they love to spend time in, and that's beautiful and that's not super expensive to create and easy to maintain. That's my goal for this channel in general. But until next time, I will see y'all later.